This is a 47-inch PTO driven tiller, which I just purchased, and we're gonna go hook it up and get paid to use it today. Hired me to prepare their field for the season. It's about 1 acre and it's been lying fallow for 2 years. Time to get to work. We have a problem. Well, we actually have 2 problems. I cannot fit the machine in here with the front end implement on and the tiller. When I have the backhoe on, I can fit it perfectly with space on both ends. With the tiller, it actually takes up more space in the back, which I didn't think it would. But as you can see, I'm completely butted up against the wall here, and the front end loader is not fitting. Those doors are not gonna close. What I'm gonna have to do, lift this up and rest it on top of the doors. And the other problem is I haven't yet figured out a good way to transport the bucket and the grapple at the same time. I need both of them today, and this is the best I've come up with right now. I got the bucket inside the grapple, with the grapple somewhat clamped on top of it and a strap to hold it in place. I don't like doing this because the hydraulics on this grapple can really mess up the bucket. I've already dented it slightly. I'm gonna have to come up with something else. I may just have to load one of these implements into the truck bed. I gotta get this thing loaded up properly. We gotta go. Not ideal. The job site is only 2 miles down the road. So I've got to do a first till, try and get it leveled because there's a lot of humps and bumps there. Then they've got a few loads of manure. They want me to spread over the field and then till it again. After that, it should be all ready for them to start growing their cash crop. I could have just driven the tractor over, which is what I did when I initially went over here to give a bid on the job. But the fact that I needed 2 implements and I wanted to bring an extra can of fuel and some extra tools just in case. Plus, I'm impatient and it'd be faster for me to just jump in the truck and drive home for lunch later. So this is the field where I'm working today to get this all cleaned up and ready for planting. They want it to go all the way down, but this area gets a little bit too rough. There's giant potholes all over the place. This is about 1 acre, and the crop that they're growing is a leafy green called Callaloo. I'm gonna get to work with the grapple, pushing this brush over a little bit farther, get a couple more rows tilled, and then work my way that way, and hopefully they finish with this fire. Done the hard part. All of what you see here was pretty much like this. Some of this is 6 feet tall. There's some big holes in here, so this was definitely a workout for the tractor and the tiller. It really beat up the tiller. Kind of standard for me is to buy a new piece of equipment, and then basically the very first job with it is something that's pushing its limits to the absolute maximum, but we're going strong, and the rest of this should go relatively smoothly. I had to do about 4, some of these rows, even 5 passes here just to get it how I wanted it. But the rest of this field is has been more actively managed and is going to be a lot easier. Engage the PTO. That starts the tiller spinning. Lower it to the ground. Nice soft sand right here. job gets even more challenging when you keep finding stuff like this in the field. Big old chunk of concrete. All of this stuff right here, I just had to stop and wrestle all of this out from the blades of the tiller, including some mangled rebar, some coax cables, and I think this is carpet. About halfway through this field, a couple of observations. One, that side of the field, 6 foot tall concrete, rebar, big log, part of a telephone pole, much more difficult than this side of the field. Number two, my client was burning the field right when I started today, which I wish he had done it yesterday because I was getting covered in ash as I was working. And it was really hot working right next to a burning field. We're looking good now for the rest of the day. I'm just gonna be finishing up. I'm also going to be spreading a big pile of manure over the field and doing a final till once that is spread to work it all into the soil. That's the extent of my role here. 90% of the field done, and I'm just doing this last bit around these fruit trees. There's a few mangoes and some coconuts here, and this portion I'm having to use the grapple quite a bit because there's just a bunch of chunky debris laying around. A little bit more tilling and call it a day here. All right, it's the end of the day, sun's going down, and I am done. Time to load up the machine and get on out of here. I'll be back next week to finish the job. A long day's work, but it looks good. Well, that was every bit of an 8-hour day. It's 6 o'clock right now. I showed up at about 10 o'clock. Took maybe a 25-30 minute break. And yeah. All right, so it's been 3 weeks since the initial till. The client has a load of manure that I'm going to spread over the field, and then I'm going to do one final till to incorporate the material into the soil, and then at that point it should be ready to plant out Callaloo. Gotta tighten this so I can get the tiller to be level from one side to the other because it's sloping down a little bit toward the left. Ready to go. I have not been filming it at all today because I've been hustling to actually get this work done by the end of the day. It's about 4:45 in the afternoon right now. I got maybe 2 more hours of daylight. I think I can knock it out, but this is what I've been doing, is spreading this horse manure and bedding material across the whole field. I've already done all of that and it's been tilled in. So I usually do about 5 or 6 rows, and then I'll till it. This is horse bedding, and they've got it brought in by the truckload. I assume probably for free because it's a waste material. Tilling it in, working that organic matter into the sand, and the soil here is gonna hold water a whole lot better. This area I'm not touching because they got a really good germination on the Callaloo just after I tilled it last time. So they're actually using this section as a propagation bed, and they're gonna pull all those little seedlings and transplant them all across the field. Little baby Callaloo. So they're gonna be pulling these guys up just like that and transplanting them all across the field at an appropriate spacing for maximum growth. So pretty interesting. Freshly tilled ground your foot sinks in about 5 inches. That's the end of the day. Job's done. I'm tired. I'm gonna go home. So that's the end of the video. See you next time.